The first time you bought a video game with your own money.
Damn.
Oh.
With my own like hard-earned money.
Hard-earned money, not Christmas cash, not
Yeah.
money that you earned.
I was 16. Halo 3.
Wow.
I bought a 360 with my first job from KFC.
Yeah.
I was a freshman in high school. I was selling candy bars. I can't remember the game I bought. I want to say it was Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers Brawl, I want to say.
Yeah. I definitely cannot remember the exact game, but I had this habit of going to GameStop and buying those obscure Asian anime games, whether it was like I think it was like Record of Argus War or some shit like that. Like I know you know that game.
Yeah.
But just one of those like games are like $20. I remember buying a bunch of those.
I remember when GameStop had the old like $5 or $10 like bins.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you'd just
yeah.
be able to grab games out of those
Yep.
because they were old as shit. They're either shitty or they're old as fuck.
Yeah, as long as it had some type of anime cover art, I was like, I'll take that, and I will take that, and I will go home and play it, hate it, and bring it back and buy a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my money went.
Yeah, Evan and I, we used to, because you could return, those were like the only games you could return from GameStop.
Yeah.
So you would get them, play them, they'd be shitty, and then you go back, return it, use that same money to buy a different game.
Yep.
Yep, the 7-day return policy. That was fun.
All right. I know this one won't be valid or relevant anymore, but the first time you waited in line for a video game.
Oh,
Pokemon,
Halo Reach.
Pokemon X and Y.
Wait, no. It wasn't Halo Reach. I'm sorry. Super Smash Brothers Brawl for the Nintendo Wii.
yeah.
I stayed there with my brother, and we did a Super Smash Brothers Melee tournament before at a Game Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did the same thing.
You were probably there.
Was
we
it
just didn't
was
know
it
each
here in
other.
Arizona?
Yeah, it was the one on Mesa and Southern.
Okay, no,
Okay.
mine was
Mesa Drive in Southern, like next to Mesa High.
So no, I've done a tournament at the one on Stapley, and I've done a tournament at the one in Casa Grande. And the first when I was standing in line for Brawl, we did a tournament in Casa Grande.
Okay.
Yeah, and I came I think like third or fourth place. I got beat by this Mario who was insane.
I was playing Mario. I got beat by a Kirby, but I took third place. They gave me I won the strategy guide
Nice.
for free
Nice.
with my game. It was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I lived in a small town, so we didn't have to wait in line for a lot of video games. But when I moved out here, I want to say whatever year X and Y came out, me and Josh stood out in the GameStop on Stapley for like an hour
Yeah.
trying to get this fucking game. It was stupid.
I missed the midnight releases. You know, they
Yeah.
went to that Stapley
Yeah.
one for Halo Reach, and like they had the Red Bull girls from
Yeah.
UConn and stuff. It was,
Yeah,
it was sick as hell.
Yeah, it was hot. People kept driving by saying everybody was nerds because they knew why we were there. Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
great time.
All right. The first time a game made you rage quit.
Damn.
God of War. God of War 3.
Actually, like the first time I rage quit on a video game. Good lord.
I decided to do a no-hit run on the hardest difficulty, and every time I got hit, I reversed it, and yeah,
That's your fault. That is all your fault.
I didn't say it wasn't.
think-
That killed God of War for a very long time for me.
I think the first time I like truly raged and broke something, oh gosh. So I think it might have been on my Sega Dreamcast when I was playing Sonic Adventure. There's like a stage where you fight a snake. It's been a long time since I played it. It's like the
The Lost World.
Yeah,
I
the
remember
Lost
that
World.
level.
Yeah, and I remember running on the snake, and I don't know if I fell through or fell off or something, and I remember just tossing my controller, and then the stick became all loose. And that's the earliest memory I can have of where I like just chucked my controller. I never really did it again.
I don't think I've ever broken anything with my rage quitting, but
I absolutely have, and it was totally accidental, and I feel ashamed of it. I wasn't a controller tosser in like the N64 or Super Nintendo era, but the PS2, Odin Sphere.
Oh.
I was playing the rabbit character, and I was at a boss in a sewer, and it just killed me like 12 or 15 times. I got so mad. I didn't mean to, but I stomped on the ground, and my PS2 was on the ground.
Oh.
I broke my PS2 disc tray with one stomp, and I just sat there in silence, head on head, just wondering why.
Why would I do this? Why would I be so foolish?
Why was your PS2 so close to you?
Hey man, my setup was weird because like
You never
We
had
had
your
a-
console on the carpet in front of you?
yeah, we had a Dreamcast, a 64, a Super Nintendo, and then the PS2.
That was one of the first. That was my mom didn't know a lot about technology, but she did know that it wasn't supposed to be on carpet. So
Oh, damn.
she made sure
Aw.
that there was everything that we had was like elevated by some kind of like table or something.
Really?
So, yeah,
my mom
was
would mop while my console was on the floor.
yeah.
Say, my grandma's where I first played video games, like the NES and stuff, was
Yeah.
just on the floor. You take the big ass cartridge and
Yeah, just blow the dust off that bitch.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think back then they were built a little bit better to withstand stuff like that, but I don't. My mom didn't because I think she fried like a VCR or something like that when she was in college, and she's like, no, we're not. I'm spending too much money for you to fry this. So
me and Devin did fry a VCR. That was fun.
yeah,
All right, got a couple more. Penultimate one is the first time a video game made you cry.
Oh, The Last of Us for PS3.
Yeah.
Because before that, I really
I can't think of
hadn't
a game.
experienced like
I can't think of a game that's
an
made me
emotional
cry.
game like that.
Anything come close?
Maybe The Last of Us, but I can't. That opening scene, but I can't think of anything too emotional.
I would say, I know this is cliche, but I'm going to agree. I think The Last of Us, I'm sure a game has made me cry before, but I remember crying, like, I played the intro of that like 3 times because I thought it was so good, and I cried every time, and I was like always showing people who didn't even play games. I'm like, yo, check this out. You got to watch it. It's the best thing.
Dude, like every family member saw that
Yeah,
because I couldn't shut up.
The opening of The Last of Us I think is probably one of the most emotional things in video games at the moment. But
Yeah.
All right. And ending on a high note, hopefully, the first time you played a perfect video game.
a
Perfect.
perfect video game.
Or if you can't think of a perfect one, as close to perfect
Seven-
as you've come.
7 years old, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time.
First perfect game I played was Super Smash Bros. Melee. There was absolutely nothing wrong with that game for me. I thought that game was the best thing ever.
Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal. I think that was.
Nice.
That was my first PS2 game. Loved it.
How was that? The third game was your first PS2 game.
Yeah, I went back and played all the other
Okay.
Ratchets because of it. It came with my PS2. My mom bought it at Costco with a double bundle.
Yeah,
It came with Up Your Arsenal and some other.
My
games.
PS2 came with the original Ratchet and Clank and ATV Off-Road Fury 2, and that I was hooked for the Ratchet and Clank series ever since.
It was an ATV game. Was the second game we got.
usually-
It was like an Up Your Arsenal with like a Off-Road Fury game or some
Yeah.
shit.